We have these meetings where everybody who's going to do this gets together and practices and gets feedback. The next guy realized that Dr. Quixote and him went to Fuller College at the very same time getting their masters. So it's weird, and they end up here tonight together. This next guy, he's a pastor at a church. So things are getting like all Twin Peaks and stuff now. Like, wow. But he's not the kind of like slap your head guy. He hasn't once dropped the baby Jesus on me when I cussed or anything like that. Seems like a really cool pastor at, and I'm going to remember this, Life Source Adventist Fellowship in Littleton. And he does improv and does Monkey Butler. That's the comedy crew he runs, Monkey Butler Comedy. All right, I just want to build this guy up because he's got to follow Dr. Quixote, who just blew your mind. But Mr. Tim Cress is about to do the same thing with Improv Your Life. Give it up. Let's do this thing.
Your life is a story, and every second of every day it unfolds a little bit further. How's your story going? You see, it's not like a book that's been published and completed, right? It's not a script of a play. It's blank, and you have to write it with every action you make. And that's why I think improv, in my 7 years of teaching it, applies so much to life. And most importantly is this core principle, yes and. Have you heard of that before? Yeah, the idea that you take an idea, you say yes to it, and you keep it going. So I need you for a minute. This is your time to shine. When I ask you a question, I want you to say yes. So will you go on an adventure with me? Yes! Excellent! Do you have your sword? Yes! Do you have your boots? Yes! Awesome. Are you ready to go through the dark swamp? Yes! Are you ready to battle alligators in that swamp? Yes! Crocodiles? Yes! Do you know the difference? Yes! Me either. All right. Are you ready to approach the castle? Yes. Are you ready to scale the castle walls? Yes. Are you ready to climb over and fight the dragon? Yes. Do you see? It's not a damsel in distress, it's a dude in distress, right? Yes, yes. Are you ready to fight with the dragon? Are you ready to win? All right. Congratulations, you rescued the dude in distress. Yeah, give yourselves a hand, absolutely. Right? Because yes, and is this great thing that allows us to go on adventures. But I want to break it down for you a little bit because it begins with listening. In a culture where we like to put on headphones and walk past everyone, right? What if we listened a little bit more? You have to know what to say yes to. If you weren't listening, you missed an adventure a second ago, right? There's some more yeses. Excellent. Listening, hearing, not being heard allows your story to enter into someone else's story. And it allows you to go there with them. It takes some of the focus off of self as well. In fact, yes and gives you this really cool opportunity to give gifts. In improv, this is the idea of offering a character or a plot or an idea to the scene as you go. But for you, you can offer gifts to one another in all sorts of ways. Whether it's your business or your personal life, you can offer gifts that build up other people around you, because the best kinds of improvisers are the ones that make other improvisers look good. The best kinds of people, I think, are the same. You draw a spotlight on one another. And then you're yes-anding. And in fact, I think you may have discovered an entire new way of leadership. A way of leadership and teamwork where you say yes to one another. And that's called following. And then you say and to one another, and that's called leading. And it goes back and forth. Yes, and, yes, and, yes, and, yes. Right? And so all of a sudden, it's like a good relationship where the status goes back and forth and keeps changing. And yes, and has changed your life, your business, whatever it might be. And here's my favorite part. My favorite part is it allows you to fail gloriously. Right? Yes and allows you to fail gloriously. Because your mistakes are no longer mistakes. They're just more opportunities to say yes and that and becomes a little bit more important. It's like learning to walk, right? How many of you learn to walk without falling? I doubt it. Right? You have to fall to learn to walk. You have to fail gloriously to keep on going through life. And when you say yes and, then you really can soar. So I want to encourage you, whether it's your creativity that you want to get going, whether it's your business, whether it's your life, grab hold of yes and. Yes and has the possibility to dynamically transform the way you live. And so when you walk out of here, in fact, right now, tonight, as you hear the other awesome talks that you have in store, say yes. Yes and. My name is Tim. Thanks so much for listening.
Tim Cress. Who wants to go to Littleton, Abington's Fellowship in Littleton?